The only reason I would ever want a son is if he turns out like Brett. Anything other than that is not happening. Did we need to constantly have 12 different iterations of Paul being like, I just don't know? I think the best thing for us would be for me to let you have the opportunity to answer first. We were all thinking like, oh, shoot, if he wasn't gonna say yes before, he's not gonna say yes now. And then he didn't. So I was wrong last video, much like most of America, who was very convinced that Kwame was gonna say no because it does not appear that he enjoys his wife, or it might be ex-wife as of now, because honestly, I have a feeling when Chelsea watches back the show and sees him cackling at when people ask him, do you see Chelsea in your future? Are you happy? And he's just like, ah! Alright, Micah's sexy though. I have a feeling that she's gonna be a little bit upset, because who wouldn't be? This is going to be my review of the last episode of Love is Blind. Well, the last episode before the live reunion, which we are also going to be talking about. So yeah, let's talk about the standout and spicy moments of this episode. Oh my god. So like I just said, Kwame says yes to all of our shocks. Oh my god. Like the whole day you're just like, this is really gonna suck for Chelsea. This is really gonna suck for Chelsea. Dear Lord. Oh, by the way, my name is Rasenica. Welcome to my casual YouTube channel. This place is where we talk anything casual or monumental related to life, and today that just happens to be Love is Blind, a very casual a very casual show that kind of has like monumental national impact. It's one of my very favorite shows. I never do this, but please, if you like this video, just like let me know. So just give it like I hate asking for likes. It like, because it just feels kind of desperate to me. Like a person will like the video if they like the video. But I kind of feel like if you don't ask for it, you won't get it. So support a girl, or don't, like don't feel pressured, but at the same time, like it would like actually kind of help me out for real. Because I love making these videos, and the affirmation kind of means as much as the ability to like express myself. I'm a pick me. Anyway. Dear Lord, Paul was starting out so fine. Paul is so fine. He's fine. I'm sorry. Lord, like, I'm such a sucker for him until we get to the moment where it's like, what just happened? When Paul was like canoodling with all of his friends and family, and they were just talking and saying the same exact things over and over again, I was like, can we just get to the wedding? Seriously, can we just get there? Because I don't think we have ever in the past like 3 previous seasons had this much dialogue in the episodes. Like I understand that they probably are expanding on the episodes and want to like include as much time possible to get the audience nervous. But did we need to constantly have 12 different iterations of Paul being like, I just don't know. I just don't know. The answer isn't clear. I could have had him say it maybe 3 times. But then after the 5th, you're just like, oh my god, if I could just skip. If we could just skip. But of course, I'm doing these little videos, these little recaps, so I couldn't miss a single thing in case it was an important detail to be talked about. And there wasn't. There was not an important detail. It was just Paul sitting around talking to his parents, talking to whoever the heck that woman was who we think is his stepmom, who's super fine. I want to look that good whenever I'm whatever age she is. And then Micah being like, well, if I get married, and then we're all like thinking to Micah, you're gonna get married. What is this if? And then all of a sudden, like, the girl doesn't get married. Whoa. Anyways, Paul was looking so fine, and I had the biggest crush on him until he was like, and then his friends being like, honestly, like, this isn't you, bro, but it's the best part of you. Embrace that. Like, this is not you, but you need to lean into it. Like, this isn't you. Chase after it. That's crazy. That's so funny to me. And I understand, like, he was saying, like, this isn't you because you overthink and you overanalyze, but like this simple moment just needs to be expanded on because it could be so good for you. But I think it's funny that he was like, this isn't you. Like, this is very contradictory to everything you believe. And that's a good thing. Like, what? Anyway, Patricia cracked me up this episode because she, like, just seems like this cute little old woman who like gets her hair dyed so she doesn't look older, and she like has this adorable bond with her daughter. And then you just see Micah being like, yeah, I know you would have come here from the grave, you crazy what? I didn't know that Patricia was being down with being called that's hilarious. And then Patricia being and then at the very end, when of course everybody said no, or not everybody said no, Paul said no, Patricia being like, he literally could have done this any other he literally didn't have to do this. He literally, and then Patricia just goes off on him. Patricia, Queen Patricia. Oh my god. But yeah, for the most part, whenever I was looking at Paul and Micah's wedding, I was thinking like, oh my god, shut up. We just want to go see your wedding. Stop talking. But I guess it just makes sense. Yeah, I would have loved to skip ahead. So we get into the point where they're at the ceremony, and then Micah's dad reassuring Micah and whispering to her, being like, everything's going to be fine. Like, no matter what happens, we're here for you. That actually almost made me tear up, because I remember on the day of my wedding rehearsal, my husband was super late. Never be late to your wedding or your wedding rehearsal. Your bride will be pissed. Because I was so upset. And then I remember like having a moment where I wanted to just break down. And my dad whispered to me, he said, no matter what happens, you will have a good future. I was like, oh my god. It just makes me emotional. I love when good men know how to speak to their daughters in a very empowering, uplifting way, and that just got me. Okay. When Micah switched the roles and she was like, I think the best thing for us would be for me to let you have the opportunity to answer first. We were all thinking like, oh shoot, if he wasn't gonna say yes before, he's not gonna say yes now. And then he didn't. That was actually, it was like actually really sad and really gut-wrenching, because you just look out the crowd and everybody's like, oh my god, dude. Like, I understand why Paul said no, and you know what, I think it's almost even commendable for Paul to say no, because it just is saying, hey, let's be realistic about this. We don't have to get into a legally binding marriage right now, despite all my doubts. Like, we really can't figure this out if it's meant to be. If it's meant to be, we will both be strong enough to come out of this and to nurture a relationship and then to get married someday. We don't have to do this thing for Netflix. Like, I understand that sentiment, but in the moment, you just feel so bad for Micah. You feel so bad because you're like, oh my god, dude, if you had known you were gonna say no, save everybody the time and effort and embarrassment that it takes to like put on this wedding in front of a Netflix. Like, so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed. But just like, yeah, the secondhand embarrassment is enough for me to be like, if I'm gonna say no, I need to tell the person right away. Like, absolutely not. But also, I heard on a podcast that Shane said that he tried to like cancel the wedding last minute. Shane from like the second season, and they didn't let him, which makes sense, because like, I'm assuming if anybody gets cold feet, the producers are gonna want to talk them out of it and be like, yeah, no, you want this wedding, you want it, you've come so far. Like, pretty sure that that's what would happen. If a man ever rejects me at the altar, and then I get so upset, like Micah, I completely understand why Micah walked off. I would walk off, I would get in the nearest car and just drive to somewhere where nobody could find me. But if he chases after me and tries to console me, even though he was the one who caused me harm, I would not accept it. But I would expect it. I absolutely, if I am so upset that I run off and you do not run after me, you don't care about me at all. You don't care about me if you're going to give me space. You better come after me and then try to console me and then expect that I'm not going to take any of it. Like, as toxic as that is, as childish as that is, it really is just like, give me space so that I can process my emotions and understand that you need to sit with how upset you made me. Like, you need to recognize I'm pissed at you, and then come crawling and begging on your knees every single day for the rest of your life. Okay? Like, maybe that's my toxic trait, but honestly, I understand why Micah was like, I don't want to talk to you right now. I don't want to talk to you. Leave me. Seriously, that would be me. Shelby's annoying self is like, I knew it. I knew it. Okay, Shelby. Like, we get it. You hate him. We get it. And for a minute, you're kind of thinking, like, maybe Shelby knows what's up. But then you're also like, no. I honestly think if Micah had just been confident and said, I do, or I will, or whatever, because, like, I know Tiffany and Brett said, I will, then I think that Paul might have been fully in, because he was, like, totally overthinking it. And if Micah had just made it simple and been like, I do, I think that would have relieved his doubt. You know what I mean? But he's just such an overanalyzer, overthinker that whole thing happened. Crazy. Honestly, though, as much as I don't really like Micah, because I do feel like she keeps bad company and that influences her, I did feel bad for her. Like, no matter what, if you're looking at somebody's wedding day and you're looking at all their loved ones and you're seeing their mom, who's like the cutest mom on earth, you just feel something for them and you want the best for them. And what the best for them it seems to be is like the thing that they're telling you, which is the wedding. So you want him to say yes. But then it's also like, no, I like Paul a lot. Like, I don't really want him to be with this girl forever. But like, you just are advocating both for their happiness. So it just, I don't know, just changes your perspective and what you want, you know? Did that, are probably in a bit of a tiff. And speaking of tiff, Tiffany and Brett did it again. So the first thing that I noticed or wrote down was that Tiffany's last name is Pennywell. How cute is that? And she went from Pennywell to Brown. Rest in peace, Tiffany Pennywell. Because if I have the better name of me and my husband, which I didn't, we're just gonna change our name to whichever one's best. And me and my husband have both agreed on that. My last name before I switched over to Seneca was Jenkins. That wasn't happening. So the fact that Tiffany's pet name was Pennywell is just like the cutest name on earth. Like, dude, Brett Pennywell. And it so suits her spirit, you know, like the idea of the name Pennywell. That's so cute. That's so adorable. Brett's perfection as a man was kind of alarming, honestly. Like, this whole season, we have never seen Brett, like, out of place. We've never seen him get angry. We've only seen him actively listen. We've only seen him be the best a man can be. The only reason I would ever want a son is if he turns out like Brett. Anything other than that is not happening. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But seriously, Brett is like, you just were looking at him like, what can't this man do? Like, he has an amazing body. He's like so healthy looking, at least. He has an amazing career. He has that big boy Nike money. What? He knows how to treat a woman. He's very in touch with his emotions. He's so mature. Every single thing you would want. So then we see his flaw, which is that he is a perfectionist. And I knew that, like, he did have flaws, of course. Like, of course, I know not everybody's perfect. Everybody has those days. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way. But seeing Brett kind of go off and essentially kind of overreact, is that what I mean, it might be a fair reaction. I don't know how wide those pants were. To see him just lose his cool a little bit in a very kind of refined way, a little bit. He was just like, oh, this should not happen. Like, on my wedding day, this is not happening. Like, my pants have to be perfect. I immediately was like, oh, that's his biggest flaw. Is that he simply just can't, like, roll with the punches when, like, the stakes are high. And that's probably what a lot of people, you know, go through, especially on their wedding day, is just losing their cool. Like, he might have a bit of a temper tantrum when things don't go his way, but that's where his one flaw was. I feel like it was almost a little bit shocking to be like, our perfect boy getting so upset. This should not happen. Like, we should not be seeing this. Like, and I was thinking throughout the episode, like, it would be terrifying to, like, see Brett go through, like, a scandal, or to see, like, Brett turn out to be somebody who we thought that he wasn't, and then we did, and we're like, oh my god. But it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I know that a lot of people go through a lot of stress on their wedding day. I personally went through a little bit of stress. Like, I kind of had my little tantrums. Like, my husband forgot to like get our like belongings before we left, and I like kind of got mad in the car and like kind of yelled a little bit. But yeah, it's relatable. It is relatable for him to be stressed out, but it just was kind of like, I didn't want to see that. America did not need to see Brett at his lower moment, you know? And I do appreciate that he was like, thank you so much. Just put so much relief in my day. And he did have time to spare. He like met up with Marshall before his wedding, which was like, what? I honestly thought the show was going to go like the untraditional route and be like, if you want to do a first look, you can do a first look. I thought that's what he was going to be waiting for. Was just like him waiting for Tiffany, and they were going to do a little first look, and then they were going to go and get married even after they had this little sacred moment. Me and my husband did a first look. We wanted a little bit of like private time with each other so that we could see ourselves before we hit the altar or whatever. And I really loved that. Like, it made it feel like very centered, and I felt like they were the type of couple that would commit to that too. But then no, we just see Marshall. We just see little Marshall pulling up being like, I wish it was me though, I really do. And yeah, didn't really happen. But it's fine. Tiffany and Brett to me give very heavy Jay-Z and Beyonce vibes if Jay-Z was like attractive. If Jay-Z was like just like looked different. Because you know that Jay-Z has like everything but the physique. And then Beyonce just straight up has everything. That's what they give me. Anyway, love them. Hope they are married forever. We'll always be rooting for them. They're America's sweetheart. They are America's sweetheart. I feel like they have almost surpassed Lauren and Cam from the first season. Honestly, I know we're all rooting for Lauren and Cam because they're perfect, but like Tiffany and Brett, to me, it felt like his intentionality and his ability to console her. I just felt like that far surpassed any other man we've seen on any of these shows, you know? And I watch a lot of reality TV. May they forever live in bliss. And speaking of bliss and Zach. Okay, Zach having the B initial cufflink. Shut up. Shut up. Like, I know it's such a little detail that might be so minute to other people. It was just so beautiful to see like a tiny little, like, it's such a, I feel like it's such like a I don't mean to say this in like a dragging way. I mean to say this in a very endearing, like admirable way. It just felt very feminine. You know what I mean? To like see like, oh, those are just her initials. I just want to have them with me. Like, that's just so, it's so precious and so important. The little things, like actually the little things are like so meaningful. And I just so appreciated it. Ugh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But okay, let me say something nice before I say something like a little bit critical. Melissa, I love that she's just an intelligent woman who has a strong like family unit. And I love that she has like a very critical. I don't love her dad. Her dad to me was rude. I've been seeing a lot of like what's the word? A lot of response to the dad being like, well, I mean, like the dad has to be real. Like, it's great that the dad is real with her and is like, hey, this is like stupid. Like, let's think about this, because it is an honest perspective. I do appreciate though that like Bliss's dad and mom are walking her down the aisle. I wanted that. I really did want that. And I brought it up to my mom and she was like, your dad would really just like appreciate if he could just be you and him. And I was like, okay, but like you guys both raised me, so like what the heck? This just feels very outdated. But I do appreciate that like that was the decision made. I hope that they're together today even, but I could see them not working out too. Because if that was me and I was like a runner-up and I had to like watch this show back, I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it. But anyway, the criticism I have for Bliss is just like, I just feel like every time Bliss's family comes on, their hair could just be so much better, like just moisturized, like natural, just like full of like TLC. Like, and I just feel like they don't have it. I feel bad for saying that because Bliss is just such an amazingly sweet person, it seems, and so empathetic, and I would hate, she's not gonna see this ever, but like I would hate if she like saw my critique of this. But really, like, I feel like when anybody who has black hair or like curls to their hair, straightens it, it never looks like what it could. It never looks like as healthy as it could. It always looks a little bit dry and a little bit stingy. And I'm just such a heavy proponent of black women, mixed women, whatever, curly haired women, to just embrace their curliness, because if they don't, it just looks like they're trying to be something that like doesn't work. And like Bliss's wedding hair to me was like a little bit unkept, like it just, oh my god, I knew what it could be and it wasn't. And I just like, Bliss, please, my god, please, girl, you are so beautiful. You are so beautiful, and I guarantee you'd be such a vision if you just embraced your curly hair. And that's assuming that she has curly hair. The girls' roots look like they have curly hair. Anyways, yeah, so that was all that happened in this episode. It was pretty good. I am shocked that it was only Paul and Micah who said no, because I really, really, really thought that Kwame and Chelsea were also going to be saying no. Well, that Kwame was going to be saying no, not Kwame and Chelsea. I'm so excited for the live reunion. Like, honestly, my prediction for the live reunion is that Jackie either does not show up because she is very aware of the backlash that she's getting, or Paul and Micah might like going at each other. I don't know. I don't think that they're gonna like, I don't think that they are gonna work through things. Honestly, if I was on the show, I wouldn't just work through things after you said no to me at the altar. I know that there have been some couples who have done that before in the past, and honestly, kudos to them for being mature enough to just be like, we're gonna work through this like no matter what. Do you think that, I don't know if Kwame and Chelsea could be together? I really do feel like, I think a lot of people are like so annoyed by Chelsea because she's like just a very like realistic person, and she's like so optimistic about the things that she wants, and like kind of sometimes dismisses like what Kwame like wants or whatever. But I honestly do feel like Kwame needs a strong woman like Chelsea so that they can be successful, honestly. So I kind of hope they're together, but I'm also kind of like, I wouldn't expect them to be, you know? I don't know. Tiffany and Brett, stay together forever. You'll heal America and love. I'm going to be coming out with the video that is dissecting the live reunion. So subscribe if you want. It's a free country. If you want to support a girl, subscribe so you can see that episode. I have other videos on my channel if you want. I have everything Love is Blind related, the last couple episodes that have come out since the beginning. And I also have just other things that are casual or monumental.